Over the last few years, with U.S.-China trade tensions escalating and the U.S. abandoning certain multilateral international agreements, the advances in globalization have met considerable headwinds. The COVID-19 pandemic has worked to accelerate trends that were already in place due to the rising trade tensions. Supply chain risks are in the headlights of all global companies. Our task is to provide some perspectives on how supply chains are evolving and what changes may be permanent and how fast will the change occur. First, while there are now significant headwinds facing globalization, the new trend is global diversification. It is not deglobalization. Diversifying supply chains is, however, much harder than it sounds. Over time, supply chains have been intensely optimized to reduce cost, with a special focus on labor cost reductions relative to possible logistical or transport cost increases. Rearranging supply chains is highly likely to raise costs since they were optimized to reduce cost. As companies redesign their supply chains, they are increasingly seeking three things: more resiliency, dependability, and flexibility. And this is all given the greater risk of disruption from changing government trade and security policies. Now, with the biggest challenge in achieving the newly prioritized objectives being cost, there's an intense effort to find more efficiencies. This is easier said than done. For example, you can move a clothing assembly operation from China to another Southeast Asian country, but one may still have to source yarn and other supplies from China. One can move the assembly of tech products away from China, but many parts will need to be brought to the new location. That is, the entire ecosystem of raw materials, parts, and skilled labor cannot just be recreated by magic in a new location. Supply chains are going to be re-engineered, but the pace of change may take some time. Then there are the risks to consider in terms of contracts and trade agreements. In particular, countries are rapidly losing the ability to influence each other. There are growing questions around whether contracts between companies in different countries and multi-country trade and tax agreements will be respected. Rising contractual tax and tariff risks add a whole new dimension to how companies will redesign their supply chains. Finally, companies are conserving cash, and investment projects have to meet steep new criteria in the post-pandemic world. Spending precious cash to upgrade a supply chain will get considerable scrutiny before a decision is made. Supply chains are going to evolve dynamically, and it's going to mean global diversification. It's just not going to happen overnight. I'm Blue Putnam, Chief Economist, CME Group.